Welcome to Conversations with Sekani, a podcast for people in their 20s who are trying to figure out life and not get lost along the way. Today's guest is Robert A. Lane, an audiobook coach, producer, and former entertainment industry professional with over 30 years of experience. After decades working across radio, production, and major studios like 20th Century Fox, um, Robert now helps nonfiction authors do something powerful, tell their story in their own voice. Through his Your Book, Your Voice program, he helps authors narrate and publish their own audiobooks, turning their message into something deeply personal, authentic, and lasting. Robert, welcome to Conversations with Sekani. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here as well.
All right. So, heads up, right? We're gonna be diving a little bit into your 20s, right? So, okay. So, in your 20s, what initially drew you into, the entertainment industry?
Um, I've always I've always been an audio guy. When I went to college, I studied radio in broadcasting, and my first job actually was working at a radio station, doing production, hosting talk shows and music shows, and
Mm.
doing voiceover for commercials and that kind of thing. So that's where it all began, and then that just continued on into other facets of the business.
Mm.
So I've done some on-camera work, behind-the-scenes work, um, done all the way up to when I was working at 20th Century Fox. That was like the last, I would say, 14 years of my career was spent working at that studio, and that was really more on the corporate side. It was a project manager overseeing
Mm.
production for the studio. But
Mm.
yeah, so that's where it all began.
Okay, so that means you initially had this, love for music, like you said, audio guy, right?
Right.
Exactly. So, were there moments that, made you realize the power of voice and presence?
I would say, also, being a musician is just another way of being able to express
Mm.
yourself, which I feel is really, really important. And I think, especially with anything in the arts,
Mm.
uh, whether you're a writer, like authors, I consider authors very artistic and creative because they are writing a book, whether it's a nonfiction book, a memoir, it's still their story, or maybe it's a fiction story. Those are great as well, but it's very creative. And I think that's such a very important aspect that we all need to tap into our creativeness. Even if you're a painter or a sculptor, it doesn't matter what it
Mm.
is. uh, Tap into that artistic, that we all have this
Yeah.
art. We do have artistic inside of us, and it's just finding out what it is, what you're passionate about, and then following that passion
Mm.
and doing
All
it.
right. Okay, so it's about finding out what you think you're passionate about, right? And yes, art is beautiful. That's what people don't know, right?
Yeah.
Art is amazing because I studied art in school. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
yeah, I did. When it comes to drama, music, even something like drawing, right? It's a
Hmm.
form of expressing yourself. And
Yeah.
I don't think many people know about that, right? But it's a very good, it's a perfect way of expressing who you truly are by
Mm.
using, art,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yes. And I believe you can now give advice, right, to younger people. So for
Yes.
people in their 20s trying to find their path, what do you think they often overlook about developing their voice?
I think that the most important aspect is to always be your true, authentic
Mm.
self. no matter what you are, doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, whether you're in your 20s or you're in your 60s, it doesn't matter. You need to be true to yourself and represent yourself as who you really are. You don't need to try to be like somebody else or sound like somebody else or look like somebody else. The best influencer is what you see in the mirror. That's the person that's the most important. So just be true to who you are. And that is really, really important when it comes to narrating an audiobook. I work with a lot of authors. Most of them are nonfiction authors, but I do work with some fiction authors. But the most important aspect is you have this story that you lived it, you've breathed it, you've experienced it. It's yours, and only you, as the author, can express it the way that it's meant to be told and then the way you want it to be heard, because you lived that experience. And to do that, you got to be your true, authentic self. I've had authors who say, "Oh, I need to sound like this person or that person, or sound like I'm a radio disc jockey or whatever." It's like, no, be yourself. Be yourself, because, and I talk about this with the authors. It's like, and I get asked this question too. That people ask me, what is an author brand? What do you consider an author brand? And I look at it as an author brand is everything that encompasses who you are, the way you were brought up, your morals, your values, your sense of humor, your personality, all of that, and your voice, especially your voice. That encompasses who you are as an author and as a person. So that's why being your true, authentic self is so important, because that's what allows you to stand out in a crowd, because there's only you. We're all unique individuals. We're all unique people. So, by being who you really are and not trying to fake it and be who you are, that's really the key. And that's one of the things that I talk to the authors that I work with when I help them create their audiobook is just do your thing, tap into your own emotion and the authenticity, of course, because what that does is that it brings out your true sincerity. And these are all things that, those are the intangibles you can't physically touch, but you emotionally feel. And that's what makes a great audiobook. When somebody brings in their energy and their emotion, and they're tapped into that, the core reason of why they wrote that book in the first place. And it was strong enough for them to publish it for the world to read. Right. So now their voice is technically in their written word already. So just take it to the next level. Narrate your own audiobook, tell your story, bring that authenticity to the table, because that's what people want to hear. And and that emotion and energy, those intangibles, that's what makes a great audiobook.
Wow. Okay. Authenticity, right? That's the key word.
That is a key word. Absolutely.
Word. Exactly. Do you know why I love audiobooks so much, right? I love to read. I love reading books, but I feel like audiobook would tell you the exact emotions of the author. You could instantly just connect with the author when you're listening to audiobooks, and it makes it even more interesting. Honestly, that's why I love audiobooks. And like you said, the key to, being real is authenticity. Just be yourself. Be in that mode you were when you were writing. Just be who you truly are. And that way, you're going to actually express what you meant in your book, right? And it's easier for readers like me. So yeah. Okay, so talking about audiobook.
Yeah.
Okay, you were gonna say something.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking of something, that you were talking about. And it's like, like for people, if they're in their 20s and they're like trying to figure out, what is the path that I want to take for my life. One thing I have to say is just have confidence in yourself. Not a big ego, just confidence. Believe in yourself. The one thing that I come across with almost every author that I work with is they're afraid to express themselves with their own voice. I hear this all the time. I hate my voice. I don't like how I sound. No one's going to want to listen to me. And I'm like, no, that is so untrue. That's a false belief. You're telling your subconscious something that is not true, and you need to change that mindset. So one of the things that I work with authors, it's not just here's your microphone, start reading, narrating your book. It's like, well, the step number one is believe in yourself, believe in your voice. Mindset is key. You got to have the right mindset. So no matter what you do, whether you're an author narrating your audiobook, or you're starting a new career, or whatever it is, believe in yourself and know that you do have what it takes to be successful. Always believe in yourself. And that really is a key factor. So mindset is very, very important, especially in audiobooks.
Exactly. Wow. Okay. Just so you know, right? It felt like you spoke to me directly, and I'm going to say thank you for that. Right? It's something I would I would definitely start doing in my life. Right? So I'll start believing more in myself, and I hope my listeners also will do the same. Right? So thank you. And
Yeah.
yeah, when you were talking, you mentioned something. Some people don't like hearing their voice, right? I've always wondered why. Because sometimes I feel like I'm a bit guilty, right? I don't like hearing my voice. So why do you think this is actually?
I think that when somebody hears their voice played back to them for the first time,
Mm.
it sometimes it's shocking. It's, oh, I sound like that. Because
Yes.
when you speak, all right, what you're hearing it from the inside out. Your head is a resonator, and what you hear is, again, from the inside out, not coming from the outside in. So it is going to sound different. What you hear when you speak is going to sound different than what you hear played back. And sometimes it's shocking to people. They don't, and then I just think maybe it's just human nature. Like we're like, oh God, I don't like it. I don't like, and like being confident can be hard. We all experience it. I do. I still do. I still have to, sometimes pump myself up and say, come on, you can do this. You have what it takes. Sometimes you have to do that. Matter of fact, I have a little catchphrase that I say to myself once in a while if I start to have some reservations or lack of confidence in
Mm.
something that I'm doing. And you say, I don't care what other people think. Now, not said in a mean or vindictive way, but just you're stating a fact. I don't care what other people think. And then you follow it up with this: I am who I am. I do what I do, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Mm.
And that's it. That's it. This is who I am. This is what I do, and I'm proud of the person that I am. There's your
Mm.
confidence. And you can apply that to, again, anything that you're doing in your life. For me and the authors that I work with, I say, say that until you feel it, because once you feel it, then your subconscious will believe it. And that's where you make that neurological change in your brain, from getting rid of that false belief of, oh, I have a horrible voice, to no, I have a good voice. I have a great voice. And maybe do affirmations. I love my voice. I am a great narrator. People want to hear me tell my story. Make a list and then say them until you feel it. And when you feel it, then you'll believe it. And that's how you make that change.
Wow. Okay. I'll tag this one as being unapologetically me, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What is that?
Absolutely. And you're not, and again, it's not an
Good.
ego
Okay.
thing. It's
So,
it's not being arrogant or mean or anything. It's
mhm.
just you're stating a fact. You have confidence, and that's a good thing. It is a good thing. And people sense that. And when you're narrating your audiobook, people will sense that. It's those intangibles, the energy, the emotion. That's what people tap into. And that's why I love having authors tell their story themselves, because they tell it in their unique way. And I find that very enjoyable.
Mhm. Right. Wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Robert. I must say this has been amazing so far, honestly. Thank you. And yeah, I want to ask, right? Talking about audiobook and self-confidence, right? Because you've made it known, right, that it takes self-confidence to, be able to do your audiobook as an author, right? So how do you help authors move from self-doubt to confidence, behind the mic?
I give them some exercises. I mean, some of the things that we discussed about, saying a catchphrase, writing out affirmations, again, giving them an exercise maybe to get them focused and grounded, like being in the present moment. Don't worry about the past, don't worry about the future. There's nothing to worry about. Be in the now, be in the present,
Mm.
because all you need to do is focus on doing a great narration. Tell your story. Just tell your story. Think of it like you're sitting at your favorite coffee house with your best friend and you have this story that you want to tell them.
Mm.
Tell that story. Be conversational and be yourself. Be your true authentic self, right? It always comes back to being your true authentic self. And so that's one of the things that I talk to the authors about, is just, again, relax, be in the present moment, nothing to worry about. Just do it. Just say and express yourself the way you would normally express yourself. And
Mm.
you will have the confidence to do so, to do that. And as a coach, of course, my job is to guide the author to make sure and give them some tools and techniques of things of like how to approach speaking, from a technical side, mic placement, don't be too far away from the mic, don't be too close, be consistent, check your audio levels, I mean, we go over all that stuff. But on the other hand, the most important part is doing a great delivery, narration. And again, those intangibles, sincerity, confidence, authenticity, energy, emotion, all those things. And that comes through. And the listener will pick up on it. And it's funny, some people are like, wow, that was a really great book. I really enjoyed listening to that. They may not know exactly why, but that's okay, because as long as they're engaged in the story that they're hearing, then the author did their job. And that's what it's all about.
Hey, all right. I'm curious, right? Something just came to my head right now. Um, Apart from the listeners and the authors, you as the coach, right? How does it feel like watching your author try to be themselves and like try to do an audiobook reading or something? How does it feel like for you as the person coaching them and watching them actually?
It's all I have to say. That's probably one of the most rewarding aspects of what I do
Mm.
as a coach. So the way it works is, so the author, I teach them how to set up their own recording space so they can record in their own home on their own schedule. So you don't have to find a studio. You're on their time, not your time. It relieves them from that pressure of, the engineer at the studio going, all right, time's almost up, and you're like, no, you don't want that pressure. You don't want that pressure. So I show them how to do that, and then we go over, of course, how the details of how to do a great narration. And as they record their audiobook, they send their audio files to me, and this is where the coaching hat comes off and the audio editor hat comes on, and I listen in real time to everything that they record. If there is a sound that or maybe a mouth noise, if you hear a or something that's in the speaking, I'll remove it. I'll clean it up, make sure it sounds good. The other thing is that there are very specific specifications that your audiobook, like the actual audio has to be accepted for publication. So I make sure that everything meets the exact specifications. So there's never any rejection from Audible or whoever, wherever platform that they want to publish on, that it won't be rejected. It'll be fine. It'll sound great. And getting to your question, when I do the final quality control pass, where I listen to everything in real time, that's where I really get to listen and hear the author tell their story. And I do this all the time, but I have to say, every time I am pulled into their story. Like I am like, yeah, this is really good, And then I tell the author, when are you sending the next chapter? I want to know what happens. I'm just as involved into the story, and to me, that makes it all worthwhile. And so yeah, I love doing it. The reward is hearing the final product. And not only does it
Mm.
make me happy and say, wow, that was a really, really good audiobook. I love seeing the author's reaction when they hear the final product and they're
Mm.
like, wow, I did that. I'm like, yeah, you did. You did. And you did a great
Indeed.
job.
Wow. Okay. Now I know, right? I've gotten what I needed to know. Okay. So yeah, while you were speaking, I just remembered something that happened recently, right? While I scroll on TikTok, I see AI videos, right, of people trying like AIs trying to mimic what human does, right?
Mm-hmm.
More of like in a storytelling way. And then I could instantly notice some lapses in it. I'm like, nah, if it was human, it would have been better than this, right? So for you as like an audio editor, right, in a world where AI can replicate voices, why is human authenticity becoming even more valuable?
It is absolutely more valuable, and I'm glad you brought that up. And this is another piece of advice that I want to share with your listeners here to the podcast. Never cut corners. Never try to do something the easy way out. You got to do the work. AI is cutting corners. AI is something that is manufactured, computer generated, however you want to describe it. The problem with AI is that, and even I know there's companies that does voice cloning or whatever, but you know what? It's still not you. And what's missing is the soul. AI is soulless. When you remove the human factor, you have just removed your genuine authenticity, your emotion, your energy, everything that again encompasses that author brand of who you are. You are misrepresenting your product, who you are, your brand by using AI. And that's not good. Your genuine authenticity, your voice that is unique to you, is what allows you to stand out in the crowd. AI rips the soul away from that, and that is a misrepresentation of who you are. So don't cut corners. I know AI can be great when it comes to certain things. It is a tool. It's a good tool for research, but you have to just take the information and then craft it yourself to how you want to express yourself. Don't just have AI do something and then just copy paste. You know, that's not you. That you have to. You can use AI as a tool, but you need to put your human stamp on it. So no AI when it comes to
No
voice.
AI. Right. So I'm glad we actually spoke about that, right? So yes, thank you so much, Robert. I
You're
must
welcome.
say this has been powerful. It's a powerful conversation, especially for young adults who are, trying to go into these spaces like writing, audiobooks, and it just gives room for clarity. Right now, I understand what authenticity can actually do for me, right? So yes, thank you so
Yeah.
much for that one. And yeah, I have this one question for you, right? Oh,
Sure.
but maybe not one. I might ask another one. Who knows? So yeah, what are you currently working on that excites you the most right now?
As a musician, I am actually in the process of recording my third album. Yeah, I love music. That's just been
Okay.
something that is so I have that, and again, really being an audiobook coach and producer and helping authors narrate their own audiobooks. I mean, to me, that's exciting. Some people, when it comes to the editing aspect of it, I mean, I spend hours editing because that's what the clients deserve. They deserve that attention. I treat their audiobooks as if it was my own, and I want it to be the best of the best. And I will spend hours editing. Some people may go, "Oh, how could you sit there? It's so tedious." And but you know what? I love doing it. To me, I look at it as a creative thing, because when you hear the final product, it's like, wow, it's great. It's really great. And the authors that do their narration, they sound fantastic. And they're not professional speakers, yet they do a great job.
All right. Well, okay. All right. Thank you so much, Robert. And yes, this has been amazing, like I said. And you said you are a musician, right?
Yes.
So What kind of music do you like?
I like all sorts of music. Um, I have to say, the music that I play is it's like kind of how do I describe it? It's like it's it's been called progressive industrial art rock.
Hmm.
Just like this big thing. So basically, it's kind of it's rock and roll, like like a Pink Floyd, moody kind of thing
Music. Okay.
with a little bit of progressiveness to it. But it's funny. I
Hmm.
mean, when I grew up, I studied jazz, traditional and contemporary jazz. So that's my background. I love all sorts of music. I love classical. I love reggae. I love, rock. I love, and there's even some country music I enjoy. I mean, I'm very eclectic. I'm very eclectic when it comes to what I listen to. So, and there's always something from each genre of music. There's something that's like, oh, that's really cool. Maybe I can incorporate an idea like that into something that I do, just to give it a fresh sound. So, yeah, you got to be open.
All right. I really needed to hear, right? Because once someone asked me what kind of music do you like, I'm like, I don't know. I like all musics, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I love all. It just depends on the kind. And yes, reggae stood out for me right there. I really love
Ah,
reggae. All right. So thank you so much, Robert. This has been amazing. And yes, it brings me to the final segment. It's called the rapid fire segment. Are you ready?
okay. All
Okay.
right, let's do this. Let's do
Okay.
this.
All right. So authenticity or perfection?
Authenticity.
Okay. Voice or visuals?
Ooh,
Hmm.
that one's tough because that can be wow. It's almost like a tie on that one. I
Hmm.
guess I could say, you know what? I'm going to go with voice. I'm just going to go with voice.
Okay. Okay. Fear or expression?
I'm sorry.
Fear or expression?
Expression.
Hmm. Okay. What is one word for storytelling?
One word for storytelling. Dare I say authenticity? That's been the
Definitely.
theme for the, I'm
Okay.
going to say it. Authenticity. Tell your
Authentic.
story.
Exactly. Okay. I never expected that though. All right. And yes, finally, what is one word for legacy?
Voice. Your voice.
Hmm. Okay.
Because I feel that it's really important. And this is the other thing about an audiobook. When you narrate your own book, you are leaving your legacy in your own voice for generations to
Hmm.
discover. It's coming from the source. It's
Hmm.
not like a historian writing about somebody else and they're giving their opinion of someone else. No, it's coming from the source. You're
Hmm.
leaving your legacy, and that's important.
It's important. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Robert. This has been amazing. And I would actually love to connect with you even after the podcast. And yes, where can listeners get to learn more about your work and what you do?
Uh, the easiest way to find me is just to go to robertlanecoaching.com. And that's it.
All
robertlanecoaching.com. My
right. Look.
socials are on the homepage. All the information about what I do as an audiobook coach and producer is all there. And if anybody is interested in working with me or finding out more, there's plenty of little book a call buttons, and it takes you to my calendar. You will speak with me directly, and if we do work together, you work with me directly. I don't send you to some other team member or whatever. You work with me.
Yeah. Okay, all right, Robert. And yes, I'm gonna put your active link in the show notes so it is easily accessible for listeners, right? So that would be my own contribution. All
Well,
right,
that I
Robert. Thank
appreciate. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so thank you so much, Robert. And to my listeners, thanks for tuning in to Conversations with Sekani. If this episode sparked something in you, just as it did in me, make sure to share to someone who you think might need this and also subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes. All right, Robert. It was a pleasure talking to you. And yeah,
Thank you.
I wish you the best moving forward, right?
Thank you. You too.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Okay.